Welcome to The Blitz. I'm Pat Maroney.
And I'm John Benson. First full slate of GHSA games tonight, Pat. I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Me too. That's right. The long offseason is finally over. Sometimes teams open up with a little tune-up game to try to ease into the season a little bit. Well, that's not the case for the Monroe Tornadoes. Charles Truitt's team had Brooks County make the trip to Albany tonight. The Trojans already played and won last week. Malcolm Parrish early on with the handoff to Mytavius Brooks for a big gain inside the 5-yard line. That fumble, he was ruled down. Malcolm Parrish, quarterback keeper into the end zone. That makes it 7-6 Brooks County. Here, and then next play, Monroe tries the screen pass. That is snuffed out by Devontae Lane. Monroe struggled on offense. And then Parrish rolls left. He finds Derek Herring by the sidelines. He almost gets in the end zone, but not quite. Then Parrish fakes left, jukes right, and he gets in for a second touchdown of the game. Monroe gets the ball back. QB Charles Stafford, he throws it to Darrell Brown over the middle for a first down. He gets hit hard. And then next play, Stafford goes deep to Emmanuel Davis for a diving catch. Monroe threatening. And then botch snap on fourth down ends the drive for Monroe. We will get a score to that game to you as quickly as possible. 34-14 Brooks County is what we have. Now over to Tifton. The Blue Devils hosting Westover tonight. First game of 2013 for both teams. Early on, Westover with the play action, rolling. He makes a move and then looks like he loses the ball there. There's a pileup. Tift County recovers, and then they get the ball back. Their quarterback, Ryan Wedgeworth, goes right up the middle. And then a little draw play, finds the running back, twisting, turning, a good block by the receiver there, gets closer into the red zone, and then a little reverse juke move, touchdown Tift County. Beautiful play there. The band at Tift County was excellent tonight, I must say. And then Westover snuffed out. Wow, what a play by the linebacker for the Blue Devils there. And Tift County, they looked really good early on. And when we get a score, we will let you know as soon as possible. Oh, 19-3, Tift County beats Westover.
All right, heading over to Worth County, playing at home against Cook County. Tonight, the Rams battling it out with their home opener with Jason Tone leading the way. Here we go with the Rams tonight. Like I said, once again, Jason Tone, first-year head coach for the Rams. And with the keeper there, looks like with the fake keeper, number 18, the quarterback, going down, but fumbles on the play. And it's still up for grabs. The defense just jumping all over it. And finally, they get the call. It was a turnover. And then a quick handoff up the middle. Number 38. Dodging and diving, moving left and right with the big, long touchdown run. And that would put them up 6-0 there. And then with the screen pass, what a great play. Great blocking all around. You could even see the linemen hustling downfield for the block. And then again, another passing play there he goes, just running up and down the sidelines for the touchdown. No, he was caught short there, tripped up by the last defender, the savior for the touchdown, and then it looks like he would later score on that drive. And the score for the game looks like Cook County, the game is still going 22-6. Worth struggling at home for this game. For this week's Team of the Week, we look at GISA's Tift Area Academy. Last week, the Panthers started off their season on the right track with a huge win against Terrell Academy, 39-28, which is an already improvement from last year considering they only had one win from the season, and finishing the season last year was a tough 1-9 overall record. But it's a new year, and for the second year, head coach Ryan Branch, his future is bright as a Panther, and we look forward to watching Tift Area Academy throughout the year as the season unfolds. Again, congratulations to our Team of the Week, Tift Area Academy. Coming up next on The Blitz, we talk about the Game of the Week and the Player of the Week. All this, more on The Blitz.
Welcome back to The Blitz. Doherty football has hit a bit of a rough patch over the past few seasons. 4 wins in 3 years has the Doherty faithful craving for a winning season in year 2 under Corey Joyner. Unfortunately, the early season schedule does them no favors. It's week 1 and they're up against 5A's Lee County. It is our game of the week. Lee County running onto the field for their home opener at Trojan Field. All the Trojan fans very excited for tonight. And then in the first quarter, it's a kickoff return by senior Kevin Hopkins all the way down to the 20-yard line. Look, he makes a couple moves there, a couple guys miss, throwing off the wheels all the way down to the 20, putting his offense in a great position. And then in the first quarter, Stephen Collier, the future Ohio State Buckeye, back to pass. There's a beautiful ball there to Devontae Say for the touchdown. And then in the first quarter as well, Collier hands off to Jamal Gardner, who goes 8 yards for a run, gets his team back into the red zone, and the Trojans are threatening again. And then Collier runs one in on the keeper, adds another touchdown for Lee County and Coach Dean Fabrizio. They are up by a couple touchdowns early, 14-0. And then Collier lobs one to J.Q. Quimbley for a 2-point conversion. That made it 14-0. And then Doherty QB Michael Watley, he tries to make something happen, but it's tackled in the backfield. The drive stalls. Lee County's defense was very solid. And then Collier back to pass, throws an interception there to Karan Allen. Doherty County takes the ball, but it's all Lee County in this one, 42-0 in the fourth quarter. Now over to some GISA action. Sherwood Christian and Tift Area Academy are 2 schools looking for bounce-back seasons. Tift Area got on the right track with a win last week, but Sherwood is still seeking victory number 1. It was the home opener at the beautiful Sam J. Smith Sports Complex. Captains meeting at midfield. Opening kick, Logan Carswell catches the ball off the bounce, and he is off and running. He makes a couple moves here, gets a couple good blocks, gets all the way to midfield, putting Tift Area in a great position. QB Rob Flick, then he rolls left, very little pressure, makes a beautiful pass to Thomas Sperlin for a long touchdown, senior to senior there. Ryan Branch was very pleased. And then QB Chris Thomas tries to make something happen for Sherwood. Back to pass, sees nothing, makes a move. Look at him, keeps those legs churning for a first down, and then Thomas again drops back and dumps it off to Seth King for another first down. So Sherwood Christian is threatening here, and then a bad snap on 3rd down. The coaches are not happy, and last I heard it was 32-6 Sherwood Christian. That is a final.
All right, moving over to some more GISA region with Deerfield, Windsor, and the Knights. And tonight they battled it out with a Florida team out of Tallahassee, North Florida Christian. And here we go, the Knights at home, like I said, once again, and the environment couldn't have been any better for Webb Memorial Stadium. Of course, this is a team that they have never faced before, and Justin Moore, number 4, their quarterback, finds number 81, Christian Philpott, with a big gain on the play, and then Moore again, but a busted play right here, and finds a way out of the shotgun finds the sidelines for the touchdown. However, North Florida would miss the field goal, so the score would be 13-7. And then Deerfield trying to rebound and fighting for yards. Number 20, Stephen Williams, hard-fought run up the right side, but then it's just not happening for Deerfield as they fumbled the snap. And then again, Moore to Philpott. It was just the Moore-Philpott show all night, and it was just not ending well for them. And that was a big 3rd down 11 that they converted. And number 16 out of the shotgun, Corey Charles with the sweep up the sideline before being forced out of bounds. And your score for this game is 20-7, your final. Unfortunately, they just could not win, or Deerfield could not bounce back for the win. For our player of the week, we head over to Thomas County Central and look at the Clemson-bound quarterback number 2, Adam Choice. This play here would just show why he is our player of the week, showing his athleticism on the big 78-yard touchdown run. and it was just one for many for the young man under the center, and the run would be good enough, like I said, for a 78-yard touchdown run against Thomasville High School. The soon-to-be Tiger racked up a staggering 164 yards on the ground with only 15 carries. Not bad for Choice as he helped cap a victory for TCC 38-0. Congratulations to Adam Choice for last week's performance, earning him Player of the Week. And when we return to the Blitz, we will have more Friday night game highlights and take a look into your local high school coaches and how they handle concussions. All this next when we return to the Blitz.
Welcome back to the Blitz. Yesterday, the National Football League settled a lawsuit with its former players. The league agreed to pay $765 million to its retirees. The reasons behind such an important case? Concussions. But the issue of serious head injuries is not limited to professional athletes. It causes concern at the high school football level, too.
There are many reasons why football is America's most popular sport, but there is also increasing evidence that it is possibly the most dangerous. Concussions are affecting the sport from the NFL on down. So, finally, awareness has reached the high school level. The state of Georgia passed House Bill 284, then the GHSA implemented a policy on traumatic head injuries, and the Dougherty County school system soon followed suit, all in the name of detecting the signs and symptoms.
We sent it home by the student athlete. The parent has to sign that policy and send it back to the school, and then the head coaches have to bring that to Henry. So we got on file at the athletic department a copy of the form that says parents are aware of the signs and symptoms of concussion.
And now, all athletes must be tested, and all coaches must be educated and certified. But picking up on symptoms is never easy.
The first thing we do is remove them from the game. And I check them out. The physician that's on the sideline will check them out. We'll bring them back in the next day, see if they're having any symptoms still.
You can tell by the impact and how it alters their balance and everything, their sense of reacting, and pull these kids out of the game.
But sometimes, severe head injuries are hard to spot.
Previously, we thought when we talk about concussion, they got his bell rung, he's got a danger and all of that kind of thing, and that was years ago. Now it's a lot different, so sometimes it's not that great impact hit.
The athletes can't return to action until they are asymptomatic, going through a progression of exercises that can take up to 2 weeks. This is a process that cannot and will not be rushed because the ramifications are serious.
Football is a temporary game. It's not going to last forever. And one thing you don't want to do is put kids in situations where it's going to alter their life forever.
For now, when it comes to concussions, we're still learning.
Education is the best thing that we can have for concussions, educating the athlete, the parent, and the coaches to know that, these are serious injuries. We can rehab their shoulders, their knees, ankles, but we can't rehab the brain.
If Thomas County Central has state championship aspirations, then last week was a good way to warn the rest of the state. They crushed rival Thomasville 38-0 last Friday. This Friday, superstar Adam Choice and the Yellow Jackets brought their 1-0 record down to Valdosta. Bazemore Hyder Stadium is the site of the Valdosta Wildcats, their home opener, obviously against Thomas County Central. Adam Choice early on keeping the ball for a short gain. He's a dynamic player. Valdosta did a pretty good job of containing him. And then Shaquille Coleman finds a hole up the middle and races into the end zone. The PAT was good, and that would give Thomas County Central a 17-7 lead. And then Joseph Malcolm takes the ensuing kickoff, and look at him. Looks like young Desmond Howard out there. Weaves all the way through the field, reverses field actually. He will take it 100 yards all the way to the end zone. Look at him cut. How many times did he cut back on that run? The fans are excited. And then Choice, he goes to the Actually, he's going to keep it, runs the ball up the middle, and that's a long run. Look at him go. And then finally Valdosta was able to track him down, and then Choice goes to the air. He finds Austin McLeod for a touchdown. That put him up 24-14, but major upset. Valdosta wins 28-24.
And moving over just a few miles down the road to another school with a long tradition of winning and making playoffs. Lowndes High School kicked off their season at home against Luella High School. And tonight, the crowd was excited at Martin Stadium here. Lowndes Vikings hosting Luella High School. And the first play here, a tough run early for Jerome Daniels with the short gain. But then next play gets tripped up outside. And finally, Lowndes defense just looking way too good for Luella. And then on the punt, Joe Alexander races down the sidelines. Look at this, is just amazing play here. And then later the Vikings, Austin Dixon would find Christian Parker with the TD pass, and that would put the Vikings up 7-0 in the first quarter, and that would just be the beginning of a beating for Luella. And then muffled on the snap here, Luella just having not a good day, and then the scoop and score for the touchdown for the defense, going up 14-0 in the second quarter. And Lowndes County would actually win this game with a huge blowout, 42-2, and to start off their season as they move forward. Taking a good look at the play of the week, we head over to Turner County, and the big man Landon Whitman from Crisp County getting the pass and just refusing to go down. And he takes everybody with him. That entire Rebels defense is just going to go with him, and he's just refusing. He is a senior this year, and Whitman is just looking good and taking the role as a leader for Crisp County as they move forward. Coming up next on The Blitz, we look at Turner County and Terrell County, and we'll tell you who earned our Fan of the Week. All this next here on The Blitz.
Welcome back to the Blitz. Couple more highlights here in the home stretch. We now move to an inter-region matchup between Crisp County and Turner County. It's the Rebels and the Cougars taking the field at Turner County High School. And wow, enough said. That's all I have to say as they run through the wall there. They're excited for their opener. Very quickly in the game, Quan Williams sneaks the ball into the end zone for an early Rebel touchdown. That puts Turner County up 6-0 with 10 minutes left in the first quarter. And then the Cougars lose possession. Quan Williams throws the ball to Quan Hillman, who runs the ball to the 23-yard line for another first down. And then Crisp County, they take over the ball. They fumble the snap. That is not a good way to get the offense going, that's for sure. And then the quarterback, he throws the ball to the receiver. He makes a nice catch, and we already saw this one. Look at him. How many guys does it take to take one man down? That is impressive, no question. And then to start off the second quarter, the Cougar quarterback rolls left, throwing, and that is a touchdown. The refs, you see his hands up. You know what that means. 6 points. Turner County with the touchdown, and Crisp County wins 14-12.
All right, bumping down to some single-A play here with Terrell County against Marion at home for Terrell. The Green Wave taking on the Eagles in the first quarter. And again, here we go, first quarter out of the shotgun, fumbling on the snap, and the Green Wave. That's why they call them the Green Wave. Look at that defense just swarming there on the quarterback. And then Chatori Jones tosses the ball to the running back on the right sideline. And then here come the Eagles, trying to respond, make something happen. But that Green Wave defense is just too much, being forced out of bounds. Justin Eckert, number 16 there, just getting beat up. And then here we go, next play on the screen, not bad, to Lorenzo Smothers with a big game up the middle of the field. Still no score. Green Wave back at the end of the first quarter, throwing up a prayer, trying to get something going, and nothing. He just gets laid out there at the end. And again, that game was just a low-scoring game, but I got the final here. Marion is up 28-0 in the fourth. It is still in progress right now, so we will hopefully have a final here shortly.
This week, you fans voted Doherty against Lee County as the game of the week. Well, more good options this week at mysouthwestga.com. We got Brooks County with Malcolm Parrish. He's a superstar. He's traveling to Valdosta, who got a big win tonight. Lee County, Stephen Collier, Dean Fabrizio, the head coach, they will come to Hugh Mills to play Albany. Fitzgerald and Irwin County, that is a rivalry. And then we have Pelham at Mitchell County. Now it's time for the Albany Technical College Fan of the Week. And the Tift County volleyball players, they went all out tonight. They slapped on the blue gear. They care so much that they even painted themselves. Could take a while to get all that off. Because of that, they are the Fans of the Week. Congratulations to the Tift County volleyball team. All right, that'll do it for the Blitz. Also, Cairo and Thomasville, they are in progress, so we'll get you a score to them when we can, a weather delay. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Great week of football.